Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games and a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Draft Day Sports College Football, and it's episode number 3. We left off last time at the end of our first game of the season. That was in week 1. Week 2 was a bye for us, so I went ahead and moved past that, and we're now into week number 3. We are playing against Miami of Ohio, who just picked up a big interception and a pretty decent return there in a dangerous place. This is going to give them some really good field position. It's the fourth quarter. These games take a very long time to sim through, to play through. And as a result, we won't air all of the games throughout the season. In fact, I will sim a number of games throughout each season, or chunks of games with the CPU finish option. But I will try to get in what I can to keep the season moving along and keep the seasons moving along, because that's this building project is not going to be quick by any means. It's going to take a number of years to get this team competitive. So where we're at right now is it is 24-17. And we were down 17-7 in this game. So this is pretty big, as we have scored 17 straight unanswered. But it is 1st and 10 on the 11 here. So in the red zone for Miami of Ohio. And they are very much were very much in danger of them scoring here and getting back into this game. But it's 2nd and 13 now from the 14 as they go for the throw, and that looks like it's incomplete. Yes, it was dropped. Pass was dropped. That is huge for us. 3rd and 13. That looked like that could have been a score, or at least a 1st and goal setup. Penalty on the D. I didn't see exactly what it was. Wide open. Touchdown. And this should tie the score. So it is going to come down to the wire. 10 minutes to play in this one, as he was completely unguarded. And that pass was complete for the 9-yard touchdown. Here's the kickoff after the score is leveled on the extra point. Porter with a great return, though. We're going to start off with good field position here. So, story of this game. First score was an interception return by them. Nice gain there. That's going to be nearly 20 yards, or exactly 20 yards on that one. And 1st and 10 now in Miami territory on the 42-yard line. Miami got the second score as well, and they moved the ball pretty well early in the game. Our first score came on a huge gain because we were not moving the ball well, but we had a completed pass that went roughly half the field to get us on the board, cut the lead 14-7. And then after a big gain, Miami was able to get a field goal to go 17-7. Our second score and last of the first half. And are we in? Are we in? Touchdown! Big gain there. We got into the red zone. We moved the ball really well on this drive here. And that puts us back into the lead with 7.5 to play. Becerra with a pass completed to Porter, 10 yards for the score. Kick is good. It's 31-24. We started to move the ball better. Another big gain to cut that lead 17-14, and that was the score at the half. Stat lines were definitely favoring Miami at that point. But then, second half has been all us. Besides that score you saw right here at the start of the episode. So we came out, got a field goal to tie the score, and then we nearly got another. We had gotten an interception, had good field position, marched it down into the red zone, and then we threw the ball to them in the end zone instead of to our guy. And literally, I had no receivers anywhere near. So they picked that one up and started marching that one down the field, but we got the ball back, and we headed right down the field to get a score to take the lead just before the end of the third quarter. And then we picked up here about 2 plays into the fourth quarter. But Miami marched it right down the field and leveled that score. But then we marched right back down the field to retake the lead. So it's 31-24, and here is Miami now doing the exact same thing as they get another first down. But there is a fumble on the play. There is a fumble on the play. And who has it? Who has it? We have it. We picked up that fumble. 4 minutes to go in the game. This would be a good time to run the ball. Run the ball. There you go. On second down, we decided to run the ball. But now it's 3rd and 4 as that first pass was incomplete. That was a 6-yard gain for Blunt. We're going to drop and pass again here on 3rd. Boy, he had his man, but the play was broken up by Welch. Welch was a good step and a half behind him. We end up punting and not taking a lot of time off the clock. Just 3:16 now, 3 minutes after the punt. Just a 40-yarder and a 14-yard return. So that's going to be decent field position for Miami with a chance to tie. And they've got 3 minutes to make it happen, which is plenty of time. 2:48 now after a 3-yard gain on first. Do we get the sack? No. He gets the pass off, and it's complete. 7-yard gain. Hayward, good play under pressure there, and he's going to complete another pass on the dump off. That one on the short gain as we were back in a zone. And it's now 2nd and 1 after a 9-yard gain. This is looking pretty dangerous. 2 minutes to go. Pass incomplete on that one. It's 3rd and 1. Guaranteed this is 4-down territory. And on 3rd, that looks incomplete as well. It was dropped. 4th and 1. We could win the game with a stop here on 4th. They're going to drop for the pass. We go into prevent mode. And it was dropped. Turnover on downs. Turnover on downs. What an amazing turn of event. We go into prevent formation on a 4th and 1. All they had to do was quarterback keeper that one, and it's easily a first down. Instead, they drop back to pass, and we're in prevent formation. Their guys are wide open. They go for the short pass, and he drops it. So it looks like we're going to get our first ever win. We're going to bring our record up to 1-1 here. My defense has been pretty good through these first 2 games. The offense, not so much, but they're looking better. They're coming around. We've still turned the ball over a lot with 4 seconds here to finish this game off and get the win. And there it is. There it is. 34-24. Is the final, it looks like, on the last play of the game. We actually kicked a field goal to finish the game off. So, 34-24, and our record goes to 1-1. That was unexpected, but that was good. We got a win. Now, of course, it's going to be tougher and tougher in the seasons to come because I'm inheriting a team that, while not being good, is competitive. I'm going to have a hard time recruiting, I think. But looking at the way recruiting is done, I think we might be okay. I think we might get through okay. Are we still in week number 3 here? Yes, we are. Week number 3 has not finished, so let's go ahead and sim out the rest of... Yeah, we're still on week 3. A lot of teams have not played yet, so let's go ahead and finish off the week. I'm getting deeper and deeper into the recruiting side of things and the training side of things and figuring things out. By the way, heading into that first game, I had a bunch of players on day-to-day and suffering from fatigue and really struggling along. And luckily in the comments section, I got a wonderful comment that really helped me out and saved me the trouble of figuring out how this would work and when this would work. And here we go. Training report. You can see I don't have a bunch of players complaining this time, and that is because of that comment. So it is 22, and it was Ugly Old Gamer, by the way, who made that comment. Thank you very much. It's 22. So you have a maximum of 25 points that you can use for training, but anything above 22 is you're going to suffer the fatigue and the injuries. So If you keep it to 22 or below, that is balanced enough. So that's where that one comes in. It looks like Green is still affected, but he was already. And we've got a few guys. There's a sprained knee. Yeah, there's still a number of injuries, but not a lot. Okay, recruiting summary. Committed to other schools. Okay, so these 3 guys have committed to other schools, but none of them had scholarship offers. Okay, so next up is UNLV, which also, by the way, while we're on the topic, if you look over here at the top 25 rankings, I have completed the process of going through and editing all of the files myself to resemble real-life schools. It's just to resemble. NCAA, don't go out there and hunt down Wolverine Studios because I edited the file. You know better than that. You guys ruined football for us for so many years. Back in the day when EA Sports, well, back in the day when EA was not the butt of all jokes when it comes to gaming companies, and their sports division's still pretty decent these days anyway. But that NCAA football game, oh man, I missed that game. Alright, so here are the records now within the West Division of the Mountain West. Fresno State 1-1, Hawaii is 1-1, Nevada 1-2, and UNLV is 0-3, and San Diego State is 0-3. So my next game here is against the 0-3 UNLV Rebels. And it is our first ever road game. So, even though they are 0-3, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we get slaughtered. If the college football game in the Draft Day Sports series is anything like the college basketball game, home field is quite the advantage. It's never a guarantee, but after a while, I had my team nearly undefeated every year. 1 or 2 losses at home at most. And then we'd go off and steal games on the road. And if we were 500 on the road, then we were having a good season because we won 3/4 of our games. So training looks like it's good now. Here is what I've set. So I'm not spending a lot of time on game tape. I'm more worried about developing players for the future seasons. So a lot of athletic, physical, and positional drills in order to develop the players and get them to be quite good in future seasons at the expense of possibly taking some losses right now, because I have low hopes for this season, so I'm trying to develop for the future. And maybe that'll help me out with that. But on to the recruiting of players. This is one area that I'm just kind of figuring it out, getting a feel for it. It was set to auto-recruit, which was a bit problematic, and it was doing things I didn't want it to do. But now that I've set that off, it's now up to me. It didn't go for my list of players. It went for a bunch of random other players. And started offering to them. So I still have 21 scholarships out there, but they're all offered right now. I took away a few of those and replaced a few of my own, and I changed recruiting points around a little bit, and then scouting points. I always have a little bit more to spend each week, but the recruiting points stay the same. So you have to take away or add as you see fit. Otherwise, it's going to just retain that week in and week out. What I also have is various lists of what it is that I could see at, and this is a not recruiting list. So I need to see who has a scholarship offer. And then, why don't we go with quarterback only? And I want... No, that's everybody. I want you to show me something else. Why don't we... I don't want to filter by... targets. Haha, there was that button I was looking for. Okay. So scholarship offers. I have no quarterback offers right now. That's definitely not a good thing. So here's my running backs. And the interest is definitely a thing. So this guy is at a 6, and I'm spending points on him each week, and he's staying at a 6 and not going anywhere. So he's been low. He's still low. I'm going to go ahead and revoke that scholarship so that now I can turn around and offer that to someone else. Meanwhile, though, the 2-star guy here from California, he is up to a 55. I've spent 10 on him each week, so a 30 in all. I might as well keep that going so that I can hopefully get one running back. Fullbacks, see, I have 2 here, and I really don't even need a running back. You could already see I cut them down to 1 after the auto recruit had them at 20, so 10 each in the first couple weeks. And I'm wondering, scouting report, have I even gotten anything? No. See, they're not even scouted, and that's the crazy thing, is it's attacking. The auto recruiting is attacking for recruiting. Being aggressively recruiting of players that I don't even have any scouting on. I'm going to spend 5 points on each of these guys this week so I can at least get a little bit of information on them and keep that at 1 point. And then I'm probably going to drop one of them next week as they're similar on the interest meter. Tight end, so yeah, I've got nothing going there. Wide receiver, we're after 3 guys, and all 3 of them, their interest level is quite high, and I don't necessarily want all 3 of them to sign on. So hopefully if they go and accept, I can actually still turn around and revoke one of them. Obviously my income in a recruiting class is at 0 right now. And as high as all 3 of them are, I'm going to start subtracting some points. As all 3 of them are close to signing. So why don't we go to a 5, and do I have anything scouting report on any of these guys? Nothing. Boy, really would like to compare them, so why don't we do this? We're going to spend 10 points each, which is all that I have in scouting points. But at least I can decide between these 3 which 1 or 2 guys that I want, because I definitely don't want all 3, especially with only 21 scholarships. I mean, you do the math here. There's 11 positions on the field, both sides of the ball, so you've got 22, and I've only got 21 scholarships. So I really don't want to be bringing in 3 receivers. That would not be wise. Okay, guards, let's see, that's where I'm weakest, is on the line. Now, here's one, but his interest level is just a 3, and it was a 3. I just spent 10 points this week, but that did not move up at all. No surprise that a 4-star recruit with a coach who's a 1 in recruiting is not suddenly excited that I came out looking for him, even if he's from the home state. So I'm going to go ahead and revoke that scholarship. And can I, let's see, how do I take you away from the targeted list here? Scouting report. Okay, I thought you were on my watch list, but we'll let that one go. I don't think I'm going to be able to get my hands on any 4-star recruits at this point. And 3-star recruits might be quite difficult to come by as well. So with him out, now we're down to these guys, and they have similar rank. I don't have any scouting points right now to look, but have I done any scouting on these 2? No, nothing. Why don't I go ahead and use some points on you, because I certainly could use you, and at a 72. Ooh, schedule interview. That's something that I have not done yet. Maybe we start to take that up. We'll come back maybe to those receivers. Well, maybe in a week, because I want to get some scouting on them first and maybe make a decision. Okay, we're at a 68 here on the punter, and it's the only punter that we're going after, so we'll keep on that one. Same with the kicker, 67. Why don't we up this a bit? We'll add 4 more points to it. Okay, defensive tackle. Whoa, that's a lot of guys. All with similar interest. And I think all of them were higher a week ago, but did I spend any points? Nothing. That really complicates the matter, doesn't it? Let's go ahead and up this a bit, though. Let's go to 4 for each guy. Gotta have a shot at least at one of them. Defensive end. Okay, we've really been going after this guy, and it's the only guy we're going after, and interest is at a 60, so we'll, regardless of his skill, we'll keep after him. Same in the linebacker department, and he's at... so here you go. I'm going to go up to a full 10, and I'm going to see about scheduling... See, I don't know what scheduling the interview is going to do for me, because I probably don't even have... I don't. I'm not going to schedule an interview yet, because if it's anything like the college basketball one, you have to have some sort of pitch. And your pitch needs to be based off of what you know about the player. And if you don't have any scouting information, you don't know the player, right? Okay, cornerback, strong safety. We've got one guy we're after, 68. Okay, that's good. And free safety, 2 guys we're after. Both in the 60s. Okay, we can up this a little bit. Now, that scholarship offers. I've got 2 left now and 7 points. I can't scout anyone, but let's see who have I scouted at... Wait. Quarterback. Quarterback, yes. Okay, now I've spent 10 points on each of these guys, but their interest is 4 and 5. Not looking so good in that. But I don't have any scholarship offers, so maybe that makes a difference. Why don't we just double up, offer both, and see where we're at, the 4 and 5, if that goes up. And without any more scholarships, why don't we try to spend these points somewhere else? Like on a running back that has an offer? There we go. No, he's already got... Uh, 7 points on one of these guys, maybe. I've got Durham. He is an Oregon guy. That could help me get after him. Why don't I go ahead and spend the points there? I know this guy's a 3-star, but his interest is very low. All 3 of these 3 stars have very low interest. This one's a maybe. Alright. Well, anyway, there's our points for the week. Let's get to it. Now, I've got about 20 minutes left in this episode. We're going to head into the UNLV game. I will not get all the way through this game, but what I can do, let's see, this is the quickest way to get to our game. There we go. What I can do is we'll start this game, and then partway through, we'll finish the game with the CPU finish. We'll call heads. And I'll defer to the second half, and we'll continue and get this game going. Quick fun fact there about the coin toss, right? Heads or tails. Now, here's the thing about whether you should call heads or tails. They say that it's 50-50. Now, on a game, oh gosh, that's we're down. We're down. Game just started. We just kicked off, and UNLV opens the game with a 96-yard return. And so we trail 7-0. At least we got a decent return ourselves for some okay field position. But that was not good to start the game that way. But anyway, in the game, of course it's going to be set at 50-50 on your chances, or at least one would hope. But realistically, in a coin toss, it is not actually a 50-50 chance. Now, don't get me wrong, it essentially is 50-50, but if we do the true breakdown, it's not. And here's why tails actually has a better chance of winning the coin toss, even though I always go heads, because when we're talking about this difference, it is so marginal that it is inconclusive. It is a pass completed, wide receiver, maybe a push off, or the quarterback goes a little too hard for that ball, misses out, but that ends up being a big gain there on that one. The inconclusive part that I'm talking about here is because it is not even a 0.1%. So we're not talking like 50.1 and 49.9. It's much smaller than even 0.1% difference. And that's why it's still basically 50-50. But back to the point here. It's not exactly 50-50. Tails has a better chance of coming up by that, 1 in a million or whatever it is, as we get sacked there. Really bad start to this game, down 7-0 and going backwards on offense. 3rd and 16, no gain on that one. Finally, here's the reason to wrap this story up. If you look at a quarter, you have one very, very large head on one side, and the other side, fewer objects. Okay, it's not smooth. It's not a smooth surface, and the what's the word for it? It's not an indentation. It's the opposite. Anyway, the lifting, right? To get that surface the way it is, the head is bigger, and because of that, it makes that side of the quarter, the head side, slightly heavier than the tail side. And so then gravity does its thing, and you flip that quarter, and you get that tiny advantage towards heads going down because of the gravity. So anyway, but like I said, it's still basically 50-50 because of how close it is. And here goes UNLV looking to make it 14-0. They are going to be into the red zone. We do catch up to them, though, after a 32-yard gain with the pass complete to Sanchez. They're going to run this one right up the middle for 2 yards, and it's 2nd and 8. Now on our 10-yard line, and that should have been a touchdown right there. Broken up by Hargis. We had nobody there in the vicinity, so that might have been broken up at the line. I don't know all my guys by name yet, but I'm wondering if Hargis blocked that one at the line. So we do a good job here to prevent the 7. They do get 3, and the lead now 10-0. We're going to bring this one back out to the 30-yard line. That's one area where we've done fairly well, is Lockett does get us decent returns. But, oh man, the struggles for offense early in this game. Becerra doesn't even have a pass attempt yet. He breaks out of the pocket on that one and runs right back into it, and on back-to-back plays has been sacked. It's now 3rd and very long, and we run on 3rd down, but he gets all the way for the 1st down. What an amazing run by Blunt in heavy traffic. There were UNLV defenders everywhere on that one, but he gets 22 yards and gets us another chance, and Becerra is sacked again. 3 straight times he has dropped back in the pocket and been sacked. And Blunt, again with a huge gain, with 17 yards. Finally, Becerra stays on his feet after the ball is hiked, and he gets a pass completion to Kelly for 6 yards and the 1st down. And on 1st, it is Gary for a 9-yard gain for 2nd and very short. And I love 2nd and 1, by the way. That is my favorite setup on 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th down. 1st and 10 is always nice. You get 4 plays to get 10 yards. But 2nd and 1, you got 3 plays to get 1 yard. So it doesn't get much nicer than that. 2nd and 5 now on the UNLV 15. We are inside the red zone, and another 1st down as Gabriel this time with 7 yards. So we are starting to run the ball quite a bit better. We only have 16 yards in the air, but on the ground now, that total is up to 44. But it's 2nd and goal from the 6. We're going to drop back for the pass. It's dropped. McGill drops that one, and he was open, so that was very much open for a touchdown. And on 3rd down, Gary loses a yard. That's going to make it 4th. It's going to be a difficult field goal attempt from there, and it's no good. That run was to the outside, and from short range, that's a tight angle to try to squeeze that through the uprights, and we didn't. So that was unfortunate. We end up with 0 points out of that drive. We get all the way down to the 6-yard line and can't even get 3. First quarter nearly to an end here, and that was 4th and 6. I believe that was a punt, yes. We're going to get the ball right about midfield here. Gary opens up this drive with a 4-yard run, and it also opens up the 2nd quarter. On 2nd, Gary gets another 4 yards, just about gets the 1st down, and it's going to be 3rd and short, and we're going to run again, and that seems to be the way to go for us, as we've got 55 yards on the ground right now, which is level with UNLV, who have dominated this game so far, but can we get back into it? It's a second chance here. We got into the red zone last time. We're already at the 38-yard line. Can we get a bit further this time? Can we get it into the end zone this time? We'll see. 3rd and 6 now. Right now, we're looking at about a 51-yard field goal attempt, so we're going to have to get a little further. That pass is over the top and complete. What a play by Becerra on that one, as he was just about to get flattened. He ends up getting the pass, and he gets it over top of the defender. Beautiful play. Falcon is the one on the other end of that, and he gets it into the end zone, 34 yards, and it's 10-7. Penalty on Schuler there. He's going to bring the ball up a little bit higher. 1st and 5. And short gain there. 6 yards on the pass completion. Uh-oh. To the 40. To the 30. The 25. The 20. Still going. Inside the red zone. Inside the 10. Inside the 5. Is he into the end zone? He is. We nearly catch him beforehand. That was wide open by a mile. And we nearly chased him down a mile, but we could not get him in the end. And just like that, it is 17-7. UNLV looking like they could cruised to victory in this game. And speaking of, I want to get a little bit further into the season for this episode. This seems like a decent time. No, I'm not conceding defeat because luckily it's text-based. It's going to continue on whether I hit CPU finish or not. Let's see what happens in this game. I'm assuming, as we trail by 10, that this will be a loss. And it's not! We come from behind. Wow, 34-31 is the final score. Blunt gets 99 yards on 20 rush attempts. He never actually put the ball in the end zone, surprisingly. But let's go ahead and see the box score here. Sanchez, 147 and a touchdown. That was big for us. UNLV's guy, Walters, 11 tackles and 1 sack in the game for him. But let's look at that scoreline and see how did we get back into this game. It was 17-7 when we left off. We got an 86-yard pass. Michael Porter, that looks a little bit fortunate because we were not moving the ball well through the air at all, and it ended up being an 86-yard play, so deep in our own end. We then come out and dominate the second half. Green opens up with a field goal, 37-yarder. We got a 35-yard run from our third-string running back. That actually gave us the lead at that point. They level it on a 33-yard run of their own. Another field goal to take the lead. A 42-yard pass to Falcon gives us a 10-point lead at that point, 34-24. That was 3.5 minutes to go in the game. And UNLV finally gets their second half going, but it was too late. Took them 2 minutes. They get a 45-yard pass to cut the score to 3, but we end up winning the game. Just 1 interception, so 3-on-1 there for Becerra. And for him, especially after that first game, that was pretty decent. Gary, 24 attempts, but just 72 yards. Blunt did a little bit better. And then Gabriel, just the one huge gain. Becerra, 7 attempts for 26 yards lost. Most of those would be sacks, if not all. Falcon and Porter. That was Porter with that touchdown, 86 yards. Green had missed the 1 field goal, but that was the only one he missed all game, so he only had the 2 attempts. And on defense, Rivera, 7 tackles. Picard had a big day, 2 tackles for loss and a sack. Is that our guy who is an 88? No, this is a redshirt freshman. 3-star rating and is strong safety. So a big game for him with 2 tackles for loss plus a sack and a fumble recovery. $15-yard penalty by Thompson. That one hurt. 5 pancakes for, what is that, Hudo? Yikes, paid 10 pancakes. Alright, well, look at that. We are 2-1. That is amazing. Okay, week 4 recruiting summary. Oh, wait. We're still in our week here. Let's finish off the week. Thank you. Simulate week. We'll set up the early part of the week here with a few minutes left here in the episode. Ooh, there's a big matchup here for week 5. Georgia and Alabama, and look at that, both of them have already taken losses. Georgia and Alabama both with losses heading into week 5, and then one of them is going to come out with a second. That makes Auburn number 1 in the nation right now at 4-0. My alma mater, the Oregon Ducks, all the way up to 5th place in the rankings now. By the way, the Ducks were a team that, third coach in just a few seasons, been going through a bit of a transition here recently. Different pro-style offense now instead of the spread option. They've changed defenses a couple times, so it's been a weird couple of years. They had only the second losing season since the early 90s. The first of those 2 losing seasons was my freshman year when I was there. And that was when they went through the big transition that made the Ducks what they are now, the household name. And this season, they went through some ups and downs, but they took a couple tough losses, like the Stanford one. That was all coaching. The game was over. All they had to do was take a knee, but do that burn a few seconds thing, where you don't go victory formation and then immediately take a knee, but you go victory formation and you slide back, 3-4 yards, burn 5 seconds, 4 seconds if you can, and then take a knee. They had enough in terms of timeouts, times, and the downs to end the game that way. And instead, they put the ball in the hand of a freshman who fumbled, gave the ball to Stanford. Stanford tied the game and then won it in overtime. And that was just devastating and deflating. And they ended up losing another game just a week or 2 later that they shouldn't have lost, and they lost ugly and then just dropped out of the top 25 completely and never got back in. In the final vote tally at the end of the season, I think they were 27th. Just outside of the top 25, just didn't have enough votes to actually be recognized. And the only reason why they weren't back in the top 25 was because of that ugly loss. They had the record. They were better than other teams that were at that bottom end, but too many people had written them off. So realistically, they started the season around 12 or 14 and should have finished around 23, 24. So that's not far away from expectations. And you take away, like the loss to Stanford, and they would have been right where they should have been, or even better than they should have been, and they would have been up there around WSU, Washington State. The Cougars ended up, I think, about 14th, or maybe even as high as 11th at the end of the season, and the Ducks would have been right there in the rankings. So not a bad year. It was certainly a good bounce back year, and they've got a phenomenal recruiting class right now, which, by the way, we're somewhere right around that signing day. I'm recording this a little bit ahead of time here, and signing day might have happened over the weekend. But number 1 recruit in the nation for the first time ever in the program's history, and the highest ever recruiting class we've had. One of the things about that last 25 years with the Ducks and how they've grown into a program is thanks to the wonderful donations of Nike, and more specifically Phil Knight, who is an alumnus. He went to the University of Oregon, and it was there on the track program that he and Bill Bowerman, who was the head coach at the time, one of the famed coaches of all time, Steve Prefontaine, come on now, where they put together, Bowerman was using a waffle iron and making rubber shoes, and then for his track athletes, and Phil Knight turned that into Nike on the business side of it, while Bowerman's design started Nike up. So Hawaii's going to be next, by the way. Week 5 recruiting summary. 2 guys here There you go. 3-star recruit at quarterback Grantham has gone to the Ducks. So that's one more off our list. And let's go ahead while I'm at it and take a look at the recruiting before this episode is done here in just a moment, and I'll finish my story. So that's 10 recruiting points that are now available, and the 1 scholarship offer, plus the 40 new scouting points. So let's get into scholarship offers and targets, and we'll go position by position here. So we didn't make any progress. This guy is a big whopping nothing on the interest area, so let's go ahead and revoke that scholarship after 2 weeks of trying to recruit him. Running back, though, not great progress. He's a 57, but we'll keep after him. Anyway, thanks to the donations of Phil Knight, the University of Oregon has the best sporting facilities in the nation, almost across the board, almost every sport, but especially since we're talking football, and that. Let's see, did I get a scouting report on you guys yet? A little bit. Pass blocking is terrible. That already makes me not want you. Intelligence is great, though. Remarkable strength. Pass blocking is great. Okay. Speed is amazing. Wow, you're fast. Okay. And run blocking is exceptional. That's what it's expected of this position. So why don't I do this? Goodbye, sir. And we will spend some more points on you. Let's go maybe to a 7. Anyway, so they've had the best facilities and just really good coaching over the last 25 years, where we've taken, we haven't even been in the top 25 in recruiting class most seasons. And then the last decade or so, where the Ducks have become that household name and been a perennial top 5, top 10 kind of program, and right on the edge of the playoffs each year, and a couple national championship appearances. Those recruiting classes have been lucky to crack the top 20. Most years they've been between about 18 and 25 in recruiting class, and then developed into a top 6 team by the end of the season. So Alabama might be going out there and winning national championships year after year, but they've also had the number 1 recruiting class, or number 2 or number 3 recruiting class every season. They're bringing in the best players. At the opposite end of the spectrum, that team that I love to talk bad about, and I promise I won't do it too often, Notre Dame, they're the opposite. They end up with a top 5 recruiting class every year, and they have player after player that goes on and has great NFL careers, and yet they end up mediocre season in, season out. And yes, they were in the football playoff this year, but they got slaughtered. They absolutely got slaughtered. They were completely outmatched. So that's 2 programs that are the opposite in that. They've got the heritage to recruit like crazy, and those recruits certainly have talent, but they aren't going the right direction. Well, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish up my recruiting off camera here, as I am now out of time. I've talked my way out of time. Sorry about that. But we will continue on into the next episode, probably with the same sort of factors. So I'll pick up somewhere around the 4th quarter, so that we can do a lot of these other tasks off camera and try to get through a couple more weeks. But amazingly, we are at 2-1 right now. Our rank is 66th in the nation. Again, we have that just bottom dollar prestige. We are tied for worst in the entire nation at a prestige of 35. And I don't think any of this will have changed as of yet. Looking at that profile, it certainly appears that I'm still 1s in everything. I think it'll be next season before I see any of this begin to change. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.